Okay, so this is a default Blender scene. I'm just gonna move this back to the world origin. And let's just say that you're going to try and make a default fluid sim. So I'm just going to scale this up to, let's say, a value of 10 just to make it large. Move it up a little bit and go into wireframe view. I'll come in here and add a cube, and that'll be the inflow. And then I can duplicate that and move it over here. Let's just say scale it by 3 and move this down. That's good enough. So we're going to come over here. This will be your domain. This will be the inflow of water. And let's just say that this is the obstacle. Most of the time, I have trouble whenever I do volume. So, excuse my voice, I have a little bit of a cold. You can change it to shell, and depending on how slippery you want the object, if you want no slip, free slip, you can change that here and also adjust the settings. But now we're going to come into here and let's see. Yeah, I always change this to final, and we can bake it, and it shouldn't take very long. I have a have a very fast computer, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on, but if I tab out of wireframe view, it is very boxy looking. So one thing you can do is press W and set to shade smooth, but as you can see, it's still very blobby. So one thing that helps is to set an envelope velocity. So let's just say -1 meters a second. That's going to have it not dripping as much. Another thing you can do is come down here somewhere. Yeah, you can turn this on, subdivision. I don't recommend going any higher than 3 or 4 because it is going to increase the bake time, especially at higher resolutions. For the A-deck promenade shot, for example, that was about an 80-hour bake with a subdivision of 1 and a resolution of 500. So again, what I was trying to tell you in Discord is you can change the time of the shot. So you can see this is at 250 frames, and at 24 frames a second, I already know that that is 10.4 seconds long. So I can come over here in the end tab and hit 10.4 and enter, and now, having done nothing but add a subdivision, a smooth to it, and changing the end time, you can see that there's now more fluid coming into the domain. And I'll just let that finish baking. It's got about a minute left. And as you can see, there's already more fluid inside the domain than there was. So just to have that tweaking a little bit more, I'm just going to say end it on 30 seconds so that we can get some more fluid. And let's say bump this up to 3. That way it should splash up against the thing. But the problem is, I'm going to let this bake one more time just to show you what I'm talking about. Everything looks kind of decent, or will look kind of decent once it's finished going. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to stop that here and scroll back. It's right there. Okay, now you can see there's more water because we adjusted the end time. But let's say that this is still... You can bump this resolution up all you want to, let's say, resolution of 500, and it's going to take almost 12 gigs of hard drive space to bake this cache. But it won't look much better than what it already is. You'll have little micro displacements and ripples and stuff in the water, and maybe a few beads of splash going on around here, but it's still going to look fairly basic, and that's because if you come over here and look in the object panel, the scale is still set to 10. So Blender is trying to figure out 10 times the value of the fluid, if that makes sense. So what you can do to fix that is you have to do this to every object in the scene, is select the object, press Control A, and that'll bring up the apply menu, and you can hit scale. And as you can see, that has made it much smaller. That is the actual size of whatever it was just baking. It was having to blow that up while it was baking. So again, let's just hit scale, and now we can come back over here and lower this down because I don't feel like letting it take 5 days. And again, because the resolution is kind of small, it is going to look kind of blobby. But I can already tell you, if I go ahead and press this to play, see how much better it looks? Just right there. We didn't have any of this stuff going on in the first bake because the object size wasn't properly applied to this. So now I can go ahead and tell you that when you up this resolution, it's going to look a lot better, and it's going to interact with your objects a lot better. That's what I was trying to get at in Discord. And yeah. So as you can see, there's a lot of turbulence on the top of the water, and it's interacting with stuff better. There's more micro displacements going on even at this low of a resolution scale, and that's because you've properly applied the scale to all the objects in your scene. So I hope that helps you out, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you can come up with. Bye.